went to school, I have a master's,
In this
in
acting
this
stuff,
acting
yeah.
thing. And then somebody just enter Big Brother, and they were now in audition together. If I were not even in audition together, I'm in audition. And then they just stroll in and stroll out and collect the role. And I'm like,
Ouch. Brotherly brother.
Alpha.
YG.
Tobi.
Been a minute.
Please, I have PTSD, I beg. So I think a good place to start is my first impression of you. First encounter / first impression.
Why do I feel like it wasn't good?
Because it wasn't.
Yeah, can you imagine? Say it be the people.
Because it wasn't. I mean, a bit of context.
Okay.
Right? You know how actors and Big Brother guys are.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
So that was the first.
Understandably so. Very understandable.
Because I'm like,
Understandable.
I went to school, I have a master's,
In this
in this
acting
acting
stuff, yeah.
thing. And then somebody just enter Big Brother, and they were now in audition together. If I were not even in audition together, I'm in audition. And then they just stroll in and stroll out and collect the role. And I'm like,
Ouch.
you know,
I didn't know this part.
you know, because it has happened, not
this
you,
part.
but it has happened.
Okay.
But the first time I think I actually ever engaged with you was Sugar Rush.
Oh yeah.
Because I was on set when you guys were shooting Sugar Rush, you were shooting
Yeah.
Party Scene, and of course you were playing Andy.
And you can.
And for me at that time, Andy and Toby were the same person.
Character. So you couldn't do
Andy was Toby.
Doesn't need to act. Just
So I was like, I knew it. This guy is a pants. I knew it. So then Sugar Rush happens, and then Gangs of Lagos comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gangs of Lagos comes up. And I remember Jadi pitched Gangs of Lagos, and she pitched you as the lead. And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Because it's painted his head pink in Sugar Rush. Guys, let's focus.
I mean, well, because it was me, because he's a nice guy, you don't want to. I remember me and Jadi, we had this big like back and forth about it, and I was like, nope, over my dead body, it's not happening.
Thank God he's alive. Thank God he's alive, guys. I'm alive and well.
And I'm like, I hadn't seen anything.
Concrete.
Up to that point. And Jadi kept saying, I don't know which jazz you gave Jadi, but I need the number for your jazz guy.
It's God, grace of God.
I need your Baba's number. Because Jadi kept saying that, look, Tobi will surprise you. And I'm always open to being surprised. So I was like, okay, let's see. So you didn't know, but you're on a trial period.
Oh wow. Amazing.
You're on a trial period. So I remember I came to like one or two of your stunts rehearsals just to come and watch you.
Can you imagine? And if just come like,
yeah, okay. Just to come and watch you. Just let me even see
what they see that I'm not seeing.
So I think at the stunts rehearsals, I was like, okay, he's serious about this. He's taking it seriously, okay. And then I came to set. There were some particular days I was like, okay, I need to be on set when shooting. Okay. So those days I was coming to set. It was
actually Baba's protecting his money. Like
and I think at some point when I was on set, I was like, okay, I see something. Right. I see. But then when I watched the cut of Gangs, I remember I sent you a message that night.
Yeah, that was actually like this life. Like, thank you for not holding back on that moment, because like you might not know what you texting me or the bit of conversation when you saw the first cut. You know what it did for me, even as an actor, like in my career, because we had come off Hustle, which was more like, that one was forgiving. Hustle was forgiving, everyday show on DSTV, comedy base. I was the character Tobi. I didn't need to do way too much. That was when I was just getting my, hands or legs in the water.
Yeah.
And then Sugar Rush came. interesting character. You know, like when you, Hustle made me less shy of the camera. I became comfortable in front of the camera now to put on a performance, you know, and then God bless Grail Studios, Jadi. Like there's just how they there's how they handle the characterization that you don't or feel like yourself anymore. So like I being characterized, the hair, everything that was happening, it was Andy. And then they're like, go to the park with it. You know, when they also give you that freedom, like some things I want to do on set is Jadi, they'll be like, hey, Toby, you don't have to. Is this it? I'm like, no, this like allow him. And then, you know, he had that freedom. But even coming off Sugar Rush, you know, it was still comedy, still like, okay, still getting the hands in the water. But then when Gangs came, that was like more like the test of faith. Like there were so many things I did for the first time, you know, in the acting career that I didn't have to do before Gangs, but like doing Gangs kind of like opened. I had to take proper acting classes, you know, with Lala, and she was amazing. Like I would stay at home and record myself. Do you know, like it was the awkward, because then I hadn't self-taped ever. So it was my first time.
Welcome to our life.
It was my first time at the time self-taping, and she would say, put the camera, do it over. And so I would be in my house by myself running mad. I'll set the camera. I had the Sony camera then. I'll put long lens when I want to see my facial reaction. So I would do things over and over again. Like I would do different things. And yeah, but I didn't know what all of that was preparing me for. But I was just like putting myself in the grind. Like whatever it is to learn here, you just need to learn it because this is serious work and you can't. They've trusted you. When Jadi called me, like, yeah, there's a film, Gangs of Lagos, and you know, I want you to be lead.
Yeah.
Like, can you do it? I'll need to take some classes or whatever. I'm like, trust me, work is not my problem. We'll get it done. But I didn't know the magnitude of what the movie was going to be. So now, eventually reading the script, I'm like, this is
like, what have I signed up
this
for?
is glory. Like, so I wasn't going to make a mess of it. But then, even after shooting, because we had shot. You know, it was years later before I think the first cut came out. I don't know when first cut came out, but then it's more like you moved from it. And then to get a message from somebody that said, the message pretty much was like, I don't know if you put I'm sorry, but like you proved me wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I was totally against you being on this project. But I just watched it now, but I'm happy you proved me wrong. And for me, as an actor, every decision I made on set, everything I chose to do, it was just it was worth it moment. And for me, like with how I feel about acting and the craft generally, I don't need like I would appreciate if the world loves the project.
Yeah.
But then for me, it's just knowing I did good work and then seeing it and loving it. And then there are just a few people, you know, that they know film. They love film. When those people tell you like you did good, you're happy that you did good. And then he's one of those people that know film. And he told me I did good.
Every time I watch a film that Toby is in, by the next morning, Toby's like, how far?
How far?
Don't lie to me, my brother. Don't lie to me.
Of course, he'll tell you.
Farmer's Bride. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, how did you feel though? Because the first person to ever put myself and Bubami in a scene together, in a role together, in a film together was you. But
I mean, you guys are all right in Farmer's Bride, yeah.
Well, all right. They should wait for other side.
I can't lie. Like I watched the other side of the bridge now, and I'm like. I mean, Femi and Fatima are great, but every time I see Farouk and Toke, I'm just like,
is that one is jelly. I can't even want to see it.
I'm like, well,
I think we'll still get to that bit, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. And shout out to Jade, because I don't know if you know this, but Jade actually gave me my first job as an actor.
Oh wow. Jade and Lala.
Yeah, shout out to Jade and Lala, because literally
amazing people.
From day one, like the first time somebody paid me money to act was Jade and Lala. Give me up. You know,
man. It's fun. So now both of us, I think that's another unifying factor. We can't really talk about our journey
without Jadi and Lala. Exactly. So shout out to the both of them. They've done so much in so many people's lives.
And still doing.
Exactly.
Lala, Jadi, let's go to Hollywood now.
Hey, how did first time Jadi called you? How did you feel?
So she didn't reach out for Sugar Rush. She was at Bimbola Craig that had reached out.
Okay.
You know, so because I think we had done something in Danny at the time, Phases.
Right.
Yeah, that one was cool. You know, easy. So when they called me for Sugar Rush, like for me, it didn't matter the character. When they told me the people that were going to be in it,
like, let's go.
It's a done deal. You know, it's a done deal. I was hearing some exciting names at the time. So when I was reading the script and I saw my character, and I love the way, you know, big shout out to Grail Studios, to Jade. the way they write the stories. Of course, they say there's no small characters. It's only small actors.
Even though I don't believe that.
Yeah, but they take it. They don't even make you feel like that. If you have to be a waiter for a scene, and that's all you have to do in that film, they characterize it like you have your moments even within that short space of time. So like for Andy, like people forget Andy Dean was only in how many scenes in that film, and that's just because of how it was placed, how it was written, and all of that. So for my first time meeting Jade, like in my mind that I didn't, because even till now I don't know so many people in the film industry. So it was Abimbola I knew. I was hired to come and do this job. I got there on time. Good personnel with everybody, vibes on this. And then, I just see this woman really grinding hard. Like, how Jade likes to look on set. and
Jade's set look.
like going for a shot. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, this is the kind of environment I like. Like, yeah, let's push boundaries. Let's do, amazing stuff. And, a lot of, they just make everything, when as put an actor in the right scenario and you just see magic happen, because a lot of what happened was that now that I have more training as an actor, there were things I did then I didn't even know. Like I was already in character, and then the sets already just had everything that you could play with anything. We're running through the market. I decide, okay, I'm going to go back and grab some meat and then run away. I didn't you get, and then they just prepare everything nice. So it was when she called me for gangs that I'm just like, God, my mother's prayers are working. My God does love me.
Yeah.
Because that's my journey. It's not, when I talk about my acting journey, I'm like, oh, you're spoiled, bro.
Like you came in like right here.
Yeah, you're spoiled, bro.
I thought I was spoiled. I thought I was spoiled.
Where do you go from here? Because after that, we then did Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And both movies, went out to be like for an actor, you really pray for those two movies within the space of maybe 2 to 3 to 5 years. Like if you get two of that in within 3-4 years,
came out like back to back.
like you're still on ice. But those came out back to back. Yeah, it's I set a trap, because now it's not like you always want to be on that level on top that
you can't go below that.
Yeah, you can't go below that. Well, but in our country,
it's not allowed. It's not allowed. So what was that transition from Big Brother? Because a lot of people actually forget that you were in Big Brother.
Big Brother,
right. Wait, why did you go to Big Brother?
So honest truth, when I went for Big Brother, it was, I wanted to take a break from banking. I had done almost 5 years in banking. I was my bosses would testify, so it's not like I'm gassing myself. Like I was a very decent staff on the job. You can't fault me. Behavior, you can't fault me. My appraisal, you can't fault me. But the economy at the time wasn't just at the best position. So I promotion, I should have been promoted like maybe once or twice at least. Because when I was because I used to work in treasury, I used to trade currencies and, fixed income. But before then, I was in treasury marketing, bring money to the bank, we brought money. Yeah, come and trade and make money for the bank. We're doing our best. You understand? But then the market went down. Banks were not promoting as much. And then I just really looked at it like, is this what my life is going to be? And then it was that thing of, every day you come to work and it's the same thing over and over again. And it just didn't fit so well with my persona. Like, I like spontaneity. Like what I love about my life now is I don't know what tomorrow can bring. I don't know what next year is going to bring. And it just really keeps me, I stay excited about life. But in that banking system, it just made me feel like I can see what the next 20, 30 years of my life is going to be.
Yeah.
And then I already had a father who was very successful in the banking industry. So it's like, okay, even if you do so well, if you do great enough, you get to those levels too. And, for me, it's still success, but I'm like, will I really be happy?
Yeah.
And then I looked at it that then my goal was, by the time you're 30, maybe you have like a 2-bed, you have a car, you'll be pushing yourself. And I'm like, maybe that's the best. But I'm like, what about we try and change things? So the idea was for me to go for masters.
Okay.
So my dad didn't know at the time I was going for Big Brother. So in my mind, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go for Big Brother. Because then my bosses were like, you know what, maybe just go for your masters in Canada. And then, from there, you can just settle in Canada. Because
so you almost jackpot?
Yeah, I almost did.
Oh, wow.
I almost did. So at the point of, even when I went for Big Brother, it wasn't to go for Big Brother and come out and start acting or whatever. It was none of that. By the time I was going to Big Brother, it was for the fun of the show. I always loved Big Brother. And I knew I had the personality for the show. So I always believed in that. And then it was more like what I just told Adara and Belu, like, please, I'm going there. Whatever can make sense outside. Please help me arrange it together. So it wasn't like I went like, well, I had a plan. I want to act. I want to host. It was none of that. It was just meant to be a break. When I come back from the house, then at least I don't have to resume back in the office.
Yeah.
I travel, get my degree, and then, continue life from there. So that was the plan. But then when I came out of Big Brother, so much love.
Look at life.
And then come here, let's host you. They are giving me free drink, and then they are still giving me money. I said, what?
Yeah.
And then gradually opportunities started to come. Adora had spoken to Uche. And then at the time, they were looking for somebody, they were trying to rejig Hustle a bit, and they needed a new character. And then my salary in the bank was like 130K. And then my 1 month of shooting back, and then banking was, though Hustle was hectic, because 4 days at least you're on set, where we're shooting. But banking was 5 days a week. And then I'm like, but I was doing banking, I was earning 130K. And now I have to do just a few days in a week, and they're paying me like 4x or 5. I'm like,
of course, it makes sense.
So that was how really I transitioned. And before you knew it, like I just fell in love with the acting space. Like everything we're acting now, I can't say I just love acting alone. I love filmmaking, the 360 process from the idea. Because now the other side of the bridge, which we did, kind of opened my eyes to another world in terms of the concept, the development, to the production, to the editing, so the 360 is actually very beautiful, and just that feeling of having a baby come to life is just amazing. So yeah.
The other side.
What about you though? Why did you choose to study acting?
Why did I choose to study acting? So first of all, I come from a long line of lawyers and accountants. So everyone in my family, you're either a lawyer or an accountant.
Yeah, because lawyers do make lawyers be making money, bro.
So even both of my parents are lawyers, right? But I watched Jurassic Park when I was 4, and just decided that's what I want to do.
Oh man,
I didn't know it was acting, but I just knew that.
You see the difference? At Jurassic Park, I didn't watch Jurassic Park when I was like, see.
I remember that experience very clearly. My aunt took me to the cinema in London, and I was like wailing. I was scared, but I couldn't stop watching it. Like, because at the time it must have felt like a horror film.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, she put my head down, and then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, and then I start screaming again, and she put my head down again. But I just knew that film,
was a genuine interest.
So I had always acted all through life. So church drama, school drama.
That's beautiful. How a moment can just spark a dream. When expose parents are to please expose your children to as much good stuff as they can.
Yep, it's not all lawyer or banking.
Yeah,
and all of that.
The world has even changed now.
Exactly.
It's a different.
So I've just kind of always known. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been able to follow that, even though I may have done 1 or 2 things differently, because when I look back at it, both of my degrees are in film.
Both of your degrees. Yeah.
So film is
both you jumped in.
So everything I know about the business of film, I've had to learn on the job.
No, okay.
So if I could do anything differently, I may go back and put some business
into
that. But
let me ask you this question. So, which would you say is better, learning on the job or, going to school to learn? Now I know you will say both. There's a way you can marry both, and it's be to your advantage. We all agree on that. But which will you genuinely say? Because there are a lot of people that won't go to film. Like, of course, they can do film school later on, but won't go and study film, but still have this dream. Because we live in a society where security first. You need to do that degree that you are sure you will get a job. That's what your parents will really allow you to really follow. So what would you say?
So these days, when I remember my aunt sent one of my cousins to me because he wants to be an actor, talk to him, and I feel like I may have talked him out of it, because I was like, this thing is hard.
Now the hustle is real.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have the entrance I had, I don't think I would be doing film because it's tough. It's tough
hard.
Out there. It's tough out there.
But I would say that the advice I give to people is that if you can learn the business side of it before you get into it, do that.
Okay.
Because especially Nollywood is not Hollywood, right?
Facts.
In Hollywood, you can be just an actor, right? You have your whole team around you that's figuring all of that out. You have your accountant, you have your
But
manager,
not
you
in
have your lawyer, you
if
have
you
your
try it
publicist.
in Lagos, in
Yeah.
fact, in Nigeria, in Africa,
So
maybe South Africa, you can try it, but
yeah, maybe.
Nigeria,
But there you can literally just show up and just be an actor. But even there, right, you realize that if you look at the 10, maybe even more biggest actors in Hollywood, they're all producers,
true.
right? They're all producers. So there's the part for the business side of it. And I also saw with our industry that the people that were seeming to be most successful at in our industry were the people that came from other industries, people that had backgrounds in, especially in business, right? So you look at the Mo Abudus, right? Mo Abudu came from Mobe. You look at Kunle Afolayan, you look at Jade. Jade started out at GTV. You know, so there's something to be said for having that background, that
Balance.
structure.
That
Someone
can
like me, I've been forced to learn it on the job because once I got into producing, you can't produce and not understand the business.
Yeah.
So even before I started, before Gangs of Lagos came up, I remember there was a day I'd spoken to James Omokwe, and he sat me down and he explained the business of Nollywood to me. He explained how the cinemas work, how streamings work, how terrestrial TV works. It was like a course in
its
the
own.
business of so that by the time and then gangs and everything scatter was sort of our now
Getting into it.
learning the
On the job, practical stuff.
So there was a theory of it and then there's a practical of it. So that by the time we came out of gangs, going into the other side of the bridge, we had a good, and again, shout out to Jade because the way the business, actually Jade and Adeshegun, because the way they ran the business of gangs was, I mean, people see the film and
But
yeah, it's a great film, but the business behind it should be taught in schools.
Oh,
I won't even
nice.
lie to you.
Nah, they need to tell. They
I
need
won't
to
even
tell
lie
us
to
that
you.
story.
Like it should be a case study. Gangs of Lagos should be a case study on the business of film. And so for me, that was my learning on the job. So that by the time the other side of the bridge came up, I had a good idea of what I was doing.
Oh, okay. Now I agree with you because when I see like some actors we kind of idolize, even in Hollywood and
Yeah.
whatnot, when they are complaining about pay
Mhm.
and whatnot, I'm like, you guys are earning millions of dollars, like we'll kill to touch the hem of your garment, but eventually, but also there's that. What will the space now? I'm just asking now, just
Yeah.
curiosity, like if okay, well. Almost like if it now becomes a space where a lot of actors are now producers, who's going to be acting?
No, you will still act. That's why I said if you look at the top. Okay, so for example, Tom Cruise, right? Tom Cruise is arguably the last big movie star. Now, at some point, Tom Cruise was a studio head, right? Tom Cruise was running a studio, United Artists, at some point, right? He's a producer on Mission Impossible, right? He's an executive producer and a producer on the Mission Impossible films, right? Top Gun films, he's a producer on
So
them.
you can just wear all the hats.
Exactly. And there's something about, so as actors, there's a role or a story
That is
that
yours.
you will kill it, but nobody will ever cast you in that role.
Oh, okay.
You have to make the film.
I hear you.
The example I use, look at Jennifer Lopez in Hustlers, right? You're thinking of casting a stripper. I wouldn't think to cast Jennifer Lopez, right? I would think if I'm casting a nice, sweet, lovable, yes, J-Lo, but not as a stripper. But then I watched Hustlers and it's like, yo, she's a producer on Hustlers.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I think as an actor, somebody said to me that I've gotten to the point where I act in things I produce. That's how the other side of the bridge came up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. Is that what happened with
That's
them?
exactly
I
what
know, but
happened.
like you have to tell the story.
So the way the other side of the bridge came up was there was a day. Funny story. The other side of the bridge, the idea for the other side of the bridge came the day I came to the set of Brotherhood. When you guys were shooting on Third Milan Bridge. I went home that night. And I had one righteous anger in me. Because I went home that night and I looked at the scale of Brotherhood and I was like, I've never done anything on this scale as an actor. And then I went through my CV And I was like, okay, I've been in some great productions. I've been in some of the biggest productions in our industry, but I didn't feel like I had acted. I didn't feel like I had been challenged, because I'm the guy that you call for one day. In fact, up until that point, the most I had been on a film set, the longest I had been on a film set in 10 years was 2 days.
Wow.
Right. So I was a day player, quote unquote.
In and out.
And so it now became a question of, okay, you know how to put a film together, right? Yes, you do. What character do you want to play? I was like, oh, I've always wanted to play a boxer. Let's
Courageous.
make a boxing
Courageous.
film.
See, let me tell you guys, Demi is courageous. Because even when you told me, like, when you told me about Other Side of the Bridge, like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
I didn't know what I was
Like,
getting.
I allowed you to exuberance get the best of me. I was excited, like, oh, boxing, we're gonna get to box. Okay, let's do it. It's like, oh, we're gonna train for a few months. I'm like, I didn't even ask how long we're gonna be training. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Bro, we trained for almost a year.
That's how we get you.
Almost a year, like 3 days in a week. We are training, we are boxing, we are sparring with actual boxers.
Yeah. So another funny again, your baba, I don't know what, because so when the idea for The Other Side of the Bridge came, I won't lie to you, the idea came with someone else.
Okay.
It was me and someone else.
Oh, now
I'm not going to tell you.
Holding the name?
No, that one is going to my grave. There's somebody, Jade knows who the someone else is.
Oh, okay.
So the idea came with me and someone else, and there was a day that you guys were doing ADR for Gangs of Lagos. That was the day I came to talk to Jade about The Other Side of the Bridge.
See Grace. God, please, may we always be in the right place at the right time.
And I showed Jade the deck and everything, and she looked at it, and she was like, Tobi.
Straight to
And that's what I said to Tobi. I was like, of course, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I went home that night, I changed the deck, and I sent it to you that night. And your next question was, when do we start training? Oh no, it was like, can we start training tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of joking. I haven't quite thought this thing through. And we started training before we even wrote the script.
Yeah.
And in training, I thought that, we'll get in, we'll choreograph a few fights, punch here, block here, punch is coming, move, And again, this is me that I don't fight. Yes. So I love boxing films, but I hate
fighting.
So I thought that, we'll just choreograph this thing. And then right here, our coach is like, I don't want you guys to look like actors trying to box. I want you to become boxers. And that's when I knew that my life was over.
Nah, it was really over. Demi, how much weight did you lose within that time frame?
20 kilos.
20 kilos. Yeah, I tell you, thank God I'm not a liar. My friend is going to say that because someone asked me yesterday, like, oh, because my friend used to come around when we used to box, I'm like, he was bigger. He lost 20 kg to play that role. And that goes a lot to really show how you love the craft.
Yeah. I remember the first day they told us to actually spar. Yeah, because we had been doing all the... No, it wasn't even fear. Funny enough, it wasn't fear. Because we had been doing all the, training, all the drills and all that. And then they put us in the ring and they're like, okay, spar.
You guys should spar.
And both of us are like, really? Okay, let's do this.
I was excited.
And it was excitement until the first
punch hits, red eye.
You can now say that you are the only person in life
that
has punched me in the face. You are the only person in his life. And that first punch, I kid you not, was life-changing. Because first of all I saw was white.
Oh boy.
It was white. And then I think I heard the heavenly trumpet. And then from there it was just like, okay, I got punched in the face and I didn't die. Exactly. I got punched in the eye and I didn't die. Okay, I can do this.
What did your father say though?
Oh, he loved it. He was like, somebody is beating you in a way I've not been able to beat you. Let me tell you that my father is your biggest fan because you have beaten me in a way that he could not beat me. So every time I came home with a swollen eye or a black eye, he was like, yes, Tobi, my boy.
Oh boy.
So he loved it.
I remember my first time sparring too. It was this. So in our training in our gym, where that small guy that is a pro boxer.
Yeah.
What's his name? I can't remember right now. He comes back, but this guy was the best guy in the gym. This guy was beating guys twice his size and everything. And I was just watching in admiration. And I go tell the trainer, like, yeah, I would like to spar with, someone on my level after. Oh, they tap me, oh, yeah, wear your. So I wear everything. And then who's in front of me? The best boxer in the gym. I won't lie. I've never been that scared in my life. In a violent or whatever crazy situation, I've never been that scared. As it was coming to me, I felt like a lion was coming for my head. Like I felt like a lion was genuinely coming. And I'm like, are we really doing this? But like the man in me won't back down. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you won't die.
Yeah.
So the guy really comes fast. Pa, 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 pa. And he hit me, and I'm like, okay, I didn't die. And then in between the hitting me, I landed a punch. I'm like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, so I mean,
boxing, you still box?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Now it's just for fun.
For fun.
Now it's just for fun.
I mean, I want to still box competitive.
Yeah, there's something that it does for your mind, actually. One of the things that I think it has done for me, it had made me realize that I can do hard things.
Yep.
Both physically and mentally, right? So every time something comes up now,
challenging, it's like, yeah, it can be done.
It can be
done.
You box, just box it out. It can be done.
So when can we expect other side of the bridge?
You will see it when you see it.
Yeah, we'll see when we see it.
But things take time.
But Afrif, have you?
Yes, Afrif, definitely.
Okay.
And shout out to you on the other side of the bridge, because you don't know how many times I quit that film. You don't know. You have no idea how many times I quit my own film.
Nah, I think it's also still I would say it's the way it was carried along, which is why I appreciate some projects are just really dear to your heart. When you're carried along, it's a different ball game. So the way the other side of the bridge came out, from when it was your idea, pitching it, when we're developing the story, like as an actor, like I was carried along in that journey, and for me it was just a blessing, because we're developing the character. So by the time I'm getting to set, I'm not trying to think of who this character is.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not reading the script and like who this. So even before I read the script, I already know who this character is. Mm-hmm. So we now get to read the script, and then it just makes you emotionally. If you notice, some days on set, I'm like, Demi, this thing is not like I'm totally out of my place. I'm just the actor in this film. But in my mind, I'm like, no, Demi, I know the dream we communicated. I know the goal we have for this project. This is not it right now. Tell this person they need to make this available. They're like, I'll be on it. I'll be on it.
No way you're producing.
I definitely will. Definitely will.
But no, so one of the things I really did appreciate on the other side of the bridge, or one of the things I was particular about, was that, before it was scripted, it had been cast.
Yeah.
Right? We had cast before we scripted, which is why the actors were in the development, right? So when we were doing all our development retreats, the actors were in there because these characters were written for us.
Okay.
Basically, they were tailored. It was like tailor-made, like a glove. So by the time I was reading Femi, I was like, oh, I know this guy.
Yeah.
I know this guy. The challenge I had with Femi actually was trying to separate him from Demi.
Oh.
Right. So I literally had to write down all the different ways Femi and Demi are different.
They're different.
Right.
Were they different?
Oh, very.
Very different.
Yeah, very different. Because it was so fun because, first of all, we were shooting in my house.
Yeah. We shot some scenes in the house. You shot a lot of scenes.
Yeah, in my house. The story is very close to Demi. So it was, I had to make that so that I'm not going in there just being Demi.
Oh, okay.
Because that was one of their.
But is there anything wrong with that? Because I feel like sometimes, so it's something I heard somewhere, and it's stuff I would like to discuss with other actors. So it's more like for every character you get, you have to put, what makes it different is when you put you into it.
Yeah. You're right. Because there's a way that if both of us played the same character, right, same script, same character, we wouldn't play in the same way.
Yeah.
Because there'll be Demi in it. There'll be Tobi in it. Right. But I also didn't want to feel like, oh, I'm just going in there and just, because at the end of the day, Demi isn't Femi.
Yeah, true.
Right? Demi isn't Femi. If he was, it would have been a mirror. Thing. So I had to make that distinction. In fact, actually, at some point, we were thinking of switching the roles.
Yeah, I thought about it
Have you
too.
play Femi?
Yeah, I thought about it
We
too.
actually thought about it, but it was too late at that point. But then also from the
'Cause
beginning,
I wanted to really be in Nikon Town, just chilling, bro.
no,
Or
man.
Banana Island, just
No, you're not being
enjoying.
it's rare.
Every time they be taking me to
No, you're not.
suffer.
Look, that first week of shoot was so nice. You know,
Compared to the second week,
yeah, it was so nice because we're on the island. From office to
everything
AC
was
gym.
easy.
There was AC in my gym.
You guys like to put me in suffer in
Go to
Queens.
Rufus and
This
B.
enjoyment.
We're shooting by the pool.
And this one, I remember what that fight, there was a particular fight scene. It
Oh
was
my
literally in the
god.
canal.
The shower that I had,
It was
I
literally in the
scrubbed my
canal.
soul.
This
I
was in the
scrubbed my
canal.
soul
You're
after that
somewhere
fight.
like your feet is on the ground, and then there are just different types of things you've never seen before crawling around your leg. Bruh, we do try.
And so, what was playing Farouk like for you?
Farouk for me is it's that scenery reminds me a lot of my childhood. Not in terms of particularly growing up that way, but it's just in the neighborhood I grew up, the people I used to be around, and even till now, still part of my favorite people. Like when I'm like in the grassroots areas
Yeah.
and whatnot, I really love the conversations there. I like the simplicity of life, and everything is just, I feel your vibe, you feel my vibe. That's it. You get nobody's necessarily thinking too much on networking. How I can do. There's no end goal. It's just I feel your swagoma. You said you feel me. Mo we gather day. You get that type of energy and vibe. And then Farouk's environment was that kind of neighborhood. So for me, just being in that neighborhood alone, like I come to set happy. I come to set happy, like knowing, what's, the environment we are, first of all, and then the level of professionalism from the crew members. They understood the goal.
Yeah.
They genuinely understood the goal. So for me, it's just like beautiful. I see when I saw, my room, I didn't have to get into character.
Yeah.
I was already in character. So, I mean, the journey was the boxing training, we're building up to that moment. And it's a steady reminder. So whether you like it or not, you are playing this script in your head every day. The day I'm not training, I'm still feeling sore from the boxing. I'm still thinking the character.
Yeah.
And you know how long we had to, shoot that for. So it's just, for me, it's now like, okay, really, you are playing a street, well, for a street guy. You're playing a street guy again. You've done this in a number of movies, and you will still do this in a number of movies.
Are you worried about being typecast?
I'm not. It's not typecast. I'm not worried about being typecast. I've done Farmer's Bride.
Femi.
I've done.
Fear Femi.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the rom-com and stuff. All of that will come. And my joy for playing Farouk was just generally the journey of before sets, all the trainings, all the work we did before getting on set, and now getting on set. When they decided to make him, look the way he looked, that was exciting for me, because I'm like, it's easier when you look in the mirror and you don't see your typical self. So I look in the mirror, I don't see my typical self. So the rest of it was just, what would this character do?
Yeah.
And then I didn't even need to think of it. So I was already in character from my first day. And then God bless me, my partner, that we're going to be in quite a number of scenes together. And my emotional, my affectionate, what's that word? My emotional, my love interest in the movie. It was our first time being on set together, but the energy was just like spot on. Are you comfortable with this? Are you comfortable? Like, we had honest conversations, and just seeing how it looked on camera. When you're just watching playback and it's still a glimpse, I'm like, oh, me
too.
And then so it kind of gave me the idea to, like, if I'm going to produce a movie, like, of course, bougie is bougie, but like, I really like how the street looks. I like how the normal, the normal Nigeria. I love how it looks, like the streets, that's what a lot of people, I feel, will resonate to. And then that was why Farouk was Farouk for me. See, writing this script, we fought. In fact, we quarreled about so many things. Even till now, we still quarrel about so many things. Like how it's easy for the average guy to have the struggle, and then it's
rich people problems.
The rich people, like when we like based on
what
that,
are rich people
when we're
problems?
talking about the average guy and the rich man problem, when average guys this thing is problem, we're not like, okay, what's the rich man's problem? When are they hear the rich man problem?
You can't relate.
I can't relate. Like, you get light files now. Now why you need therapy? If you don't get light files,
Wow.
what's if I bring light? You're terror.
Yeah. So I mean, you said, I mean, there's something that you said recurrently about how everything helps your performance. So from the costume to the location to the looks, everything helps you. And I do appreciate that because that's one of the things that I'm very particular about as an actor is that I don't want to look in the mirror and see Demi, right? That
Yeah.
doesn't help me as an actor. I have to do more to make sure that I'm not Demi. But when I look in the mirror, I think it was Kerry Washington when she was doing Scandal. She said that whenever she wore her shoes, that's when she became Olivia Pope. You know, the shoes were what?
Where the magic.
Yeah, it was the shoes. The shoes were where the magic was. And so everything.
Yeah, it's always beautiful when there's that thing.
Yeah,
There's that
you
thing.
just feel like, okay, I'm not Demi. you
Yeah,
know.
but it feels doesn't feel somehow like right now, and it's personal. I don't feel like my body belongs to me. I can't like
How does your wife feel about that?
Yeah. Well, thank God I'm married already. She's not going anywhere. But like my body doesn't belong to me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can't look. In fact, if you check my social media right now, I can't remember the last time I took a photo, bro.
Mhm.
Like because I have this scruffy look and everything. I'm like, this is going to be beautiful for a project.
Yeah.
You just got to keep it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then someone might come tomorrow and tell me to shave my head, and off it is.
Yeah, I had to shave this like 2 weeks ago.
I want to get amazing tattoos. I can't because, bruh,
Yeah.
it's the hustle.
So where do you see yourself in the industry in, well, not even in 5 years, because I know we've talked about you producing, directing.
Yeah.
Because I think, what's that journey looking like for you?
So currently I'm developing a story.
Okay.
By God's grace, we should shoot next year. By God's grace, we should shoot next year. I'm very positive. So it's going to be my baptism of fire, the way you had yours. But at the same time, I believe in the best collaborations. I'm still praying for more amazing collaborations because I'm a product of collaboration. You know, it's not like I came to already prepared stew, so to say. So, it would be nice to be able to do that for other people and also like do that for my own self.
Yeah.
Because it's an industry where there's a way I want to be 50 and watch my films. I want to be 60 or 70 and watch my films. And like I feel like I'm my biggest critic. So I just really want to do films I will enjoy watching. And in the past, you of course getting, learning your way around the industry, you learn how to, move around that hurdle. But yeah, next year produce and probably co-direct.
Okay.
And but that would just be a baptism of fire, and then hopefully we see how that goes. By God's grace, is going to be a success. I'm very positive about it because of already the work that is already going into it. But yeah, I'm still hoping for a lot. Like I don't want to spill the beans. Well, not even spill the beans. Eventually, it's just even industry goal because like they say, you can't be the number one in a failed state and still call yourself number one. So it's just, I'm not saying our industry or our country is a failed state. I'm just saying like, so we as an industry, we're still growing globally. So it's really to just hope like we get bigger. Of course, there's appeal for Nigeria and Nigerian stuff, but it's just like let that appeal grow to a larger scale. Right now, we don't have, of course, we have people that have other passports being able to work in Hollywood and whatnot, but like how much of that opportunities are really trickling down for Nigerian actors? Right now is our stories that are being taken, and then you have Americans who are Nigerian Americans probably playing the role, or you have people from other parts of Africa, and they are taking Nigerian stories. So it would be nice to see Nigerian stories being told by, like, let the accent sound the same. I saw Genevieve say something like she hit the nail on the head. She said something like that, like, yeah, like we see you guys love us, but like come and use let that Nigerian sound like a Nigerian. Let them look like let it resonate with whoever is in Nigeria or in Africa, and then let people because that's the thing about film. Years later, people will come to Nigeria and remember something or someone they saw in a film or a reference or something, and then it will make sense. It makes a 360 experience, not just a make believe. So it'll be nice to see those opportunities come, and also it will be nice to see the industry grow, because I feel like both ends have to kind of meet. It can't be Nollywood just growing and then they accept it. It's more like both ends have to like keep gravitating towards each other. And I just really hope, for me, it's also in a time while I'm still active in the industry. Or if not, we'll continue to lay the bed. The way they laid the bed for us.
I think you're here for a long time. I think
Yeah, so I mean that's the goal. Right now in the space, produce, direct, do some amazing movies. That's do the 360. And also, like, I pray, me more than anything, I pray for like amazing collaborations, because there are people with mad ideas. There are youngsters. There are different people with crazy ideas in terms of films, in terms of stories. So it's just like really to hope like they see me worthy of being on such projects, because I still feel like I haven't scratched my itch yet in terms of acting. From when I knew I could act, I don't think I've scratched my itch yet. My man, I'm like, these people don't know.
Make that film.
Like there's a lot there's a lot. Yeah, like there's plenty things I can do. Like they don't even know.
Make that film.
What about you?
So
what else do you want to do?
What else do I want to do? I mean, I've always
PhD in
said
theater.
no, I'm done with school. School I finished. So I've always, what else do I want to do?
You're not sure yet.
Bigger and better.
Bigger and better.
Just keep doing it bigger and better.
Yeah, because so that's another thing. So do you feel bad when you're not? Because me, like a lot of my learning, like is on the job.
Yeah.
So like because of course you watch videos, you're learning online. I even took classes, private classes with Najite. She's amazing, by the way. And then, but if I'm not on set, after if I've not been on set for a while, I'll just be questioning myself, can you still act?
No. So I mean, acting it's not something that you just do once. It's not something that you just do while you're on set or while you're acting. The books you read are part of it. So I'm always reading. I know I'm always sending you books.
Your own life. Demi's life is 360.
I'm always sending you the books you read, the things you watch. I look at it as even just the experiences of life.
Generally.
There are some experiences I put myself through, because I'm like, okay, this is adding to the richness
of your
myself.
I a part of me now wishes I went through more as a child.
You should have more trauma to me.
Sorry, actors, we are very weird people. We are weird people. Trust me, I can get someone angry right now and the person is like mad upset and I'm like, what? Beautiful reaction. What? Authentic. And then I'm like,
I need to use that in the script somewhere. I need to use that in the line somewhere.
So for me, like that thing is you have a different eye to the world now. Yeah. Everything is more like, it's not like a movie, but like everything is notes. You get to see people, respond a certain way. You're taking notes. Like everything just becomes so. Like your brain never really switches off from learning for the craft.
It always pays.
Oh my.
So yeah, it's just doing it bigger and
What do you think acting has rewarded? Do you think being an actor is rewarding?
Personally, yes.
In what regard? Is it financially? Is it? I have to ask you the hard questions. Should you be asking me questions?
Is it rewarding financially? Maybe not yet.
Okay.
But I know that there is you know how you said that there's an itch, right? There's an itch that only acting scratches. Okay. Right, because in this life, I've done a lot of things. I've been a wedding photographer, I've been a radio presenter, I've been a baker. Thankfully, I've tried my hand at a lot of different things.
So no wonder we know they collect banana bread.
There's banana bread for you. So I know that these hands can do a lot, but there's a particular itch that says only acting that scratches that itch. So no matter what it is I do, there's always going to be a place for being an actor. Whether it's for financially or on a personal level, there's always a place for being an actor.
Yeah.
So no matter what I do, no matter what level I get to on the business side of things as an executive, I would always still act. Even if it's once a year, once every 2 years.
My prayer for the industry is just it grows to that point where you can really just be an actor.
Yeah.
Because like right now the space is just so you have to be an actor, you have to be an influencer. So I feel like it takes away from the like when you have because now you have to be possibly your own manager. You have to maintain a very active social media presence. You have to market, learn to like. You have to be a marketer. You have to be so many things because you're an actor. And for me, I like my wish and goal. Maybe it's too late for our generation, but for the other ones, it's like you just have an industry where you can really just be an actor.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Of course, you can be popular based on your work and everything, but like that, because I feel like even maintaining a social media presence takes away from their actors. Like you don't see their personal lives. So when they come on a set or when you see them in a movie and they look a certain way or acting a certain way, it is so believable.
I kid you not, till today, if Daniel Day-Lewis was standing here, I wouldn't know it was him. I have no idea. I know what his characters look like.
But
I have no idea what he looks
like. So like for me, that's I crave that level. So I just really, for me, it's just like I wish, like if I can even on my personal end, if I can do businesses and everything that can like just be actors and acting can sustain your livelihood. You have your agent, you have your. But we're growing. The industry has grown.
That says it's been progress from, because again, Nollywood is a very young industry. I think that's what people forget. We compare it to Hollywood, that is hundreds of years. Nollywood is barely 20, 30 years, So for me, what I see in the long term is a Nollywood that we can be proud of.
Yeah, I'm already proud though.
Yeah.
I'm very proud.
I mean, Marvel is still the goal.
Marvel is still the goal.
Marvel is still
We're going to have our own too now.
Yeah.
I know seeing the trailers out there now. They are doing some disappearing things already. Big shout out, man.
But to wrap this up, let me just finish how it started.
Okay.
My first impression of you was not great, but now I'm your number one fan. I'm your number one.
My first impression of you. I'm a Babalo. Because I remember Sugar Rush time, but I mean, it was just like I didn't know like who, and then when it was Gangs of Lagos time, I'm like, oh, it's our EP. I'm like, they must have money. Because all these places were shooting and this, and then eventually now we're even brothers. I can't even call us friends anymore. And that's true sweat, blood, and tears. So for us, because we're still in this. So I just hope the best for us. More amazing projects, more projects we'll love and be proud of, and the great rewards that come with it. Not just the awards, financially, so wise, make our people proud, make family proud, make the country proud. With our storytelling.
That's it.
Shape our narrative.
So shape my brother.